Japan is out of the World Baseball Classic in a shocking upset, and it sends Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto racing back to the Dodgers.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? I'm Harry Ruiz. That's Travis Rodgers, and it's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. On today's show, the Dodgers just signed a historic stadium sponsorship deal without changing the name of the stadium. Team USA survives a wild, controversial semifinal with Will Smith front and center. But first, Travis, in the biggest shocker of the knockout round, Japan is out of the WBC in the quarterfinals, sending Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto back to Dodgers camp.
Yeah, maybe not the final that we were maybe looking forward to, but we get our guys back at camp. We'll get into all of it on this edition of Locked On Dodgers, and it's brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLB.show/Locked On and use the code Locked On to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available tomorrow, March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, and it is rated E for everyone.
Weekdays, Travis sets the tone on 710 ESPN LA from 3 to 6 on the Travis and DeMarco Show. Meanwhile, when I'm not on the call for USC football in Spanish, this is my home base talking Dodgers baseball with you every weekday. New here? Welcome. Everydayers, you already know you're the heartbeat of our show. It's easy to help us out. Subscribe and like our content on YouTube. Drop a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify and hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 2793-LOCKED. That's 279-356-2533. Leave us a voicemail or a text anytime, any day. Japan stunned. Ohtani and Yamamoto are back at Dodgers camp. If you asked most people before the tournament who the favorite was to win the WBC, the answer probably started with the defending champs, Japan. But on Saturday night in Miami, that run came to a shocking end. Venezuela knocked out Team Samurai by beating them 8-5 in the quarterfinals, marking the first time in the tournament's history that Japan failed to reach the semifinals. That right there, Travis, is a huge deal.
Yeah, it was a big upset. You know, I think it goes to show you just how many good players there are across the rest of the world. The Japanese obviously have an incredible team. They've got about as much star power as anybody else with guys like Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, but this is what makes baseball so much fun. Who knows, right? You have no idea what's going to happen. And you know, not to stretch it too far, but this is, I think, why even with the Dodgers having the roster that they have, even though the Dodgers have a star player virtually at every single position, nothing is guaranteed. You know, certainly in a short series and certainly not in a one game winner take all situation. Venezuela has a lot of good players. You know, maybe not their best guys. Some of the guys like Jose Altuve not there because they weren't able to get insured, but you know, this is what makes this tournament fun, especially when you get into that knockout run where one mistake, one bad pitch, one big swing, and you're going home, and the Japanese are going home. You know, I wanted USA, Japan in the final, but I guess we'll have to deal with USA and Venezuela or Italy.
Exactly. And Japan, I mean, they had been one of the most consistent teams the tournament has ever seen because they won the inaugural one in 2006. They won it again in 2009, and then they captured another title in the last edition in 2023. And even in the years that they didn't win it, they always made deep runs. And even players that you probably didn't know a couple of years later or a year later, or maybe even that year, they would make it to the major leagues after being displayed with Team Samurai in this type of scenario. And now the game made it something that, okay, you see that they all are vulnerable, that you have any given day, anybody can win. That's baseball. We always say it here on Locked On Dodgers. Our everydayers know it. Baseball's gonna baseball. We were all just ready, living our chocolate, being like, okay, man, it's gonna be US versus Japan because that's something that the WBC did this tournament. You didn't have set brackets where this team, the winner of this pool is gonna place the winner of this pool in this set way. They fixed the bracket for Team USA on one side, Japan on the other, hoping that the final would once again be U.S. Japan, and now it's U.S. versus Italy or Venezuela. But we got to see Shohei Ohtani once again deliver a big home run, leading off the bottom of the first for Team Samurai, being down 1-0 after you had Ronald Acuna leading off the game with a home run for Venezuela against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And it was a tight game when Yoshi was out there, but once Yoshi left, the bullpen just failed Team Samurai, and that's how we are at this place right now. But overall, Travis, I would say the two Dodgers in Team Japan did a good job in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani was extraordinary. Not just good. He was Ohtani. Even though he came up, made the last out there, it was still, down 3 runs. And if there was ever a way for somebody to hit a 3-run homer with nobody on base, I thought Shohei might figure out a way to do it. But he was terrific. Yamamoto was really, really good. Giving up a home run to Ronald Acuna. Okay. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, one of the best players in the world. So certainly no shame there. Both Ohtani and Yamamoto looked sharp. They looked ready to go. Opening day, like we've been counting down for the last several months, is finally just around the corner. And two of the Dodgers' most important players, and certainly their most important player in Shohei Ohtani, look like they're, mid-season ready. It's certainly Ohtani in the batter's box. We'll see how he looks in the mound. We talked about it last week. Our everydayers got to hear it about how sharp he did look on the mound when he was getting ready, throwing incredibly hard, looking very, very good. So, I guess the best case scenario, even though we don't get exactly maybe the final that some of us were looking for, both of the Dodger players on Team Samurai come back healthy, sharp, and ready to go, which is the best case scenario.
Yeah, and that right there is the big picture Dodger angle that we're focusing on being Locked On Dodgers, is that this means that the Dodgers are getting their stars back early and healthy. We were thinking that they were probably going to arrive until Friday or Thursday, and here they are kicking off the week wearing Dodger blue nearly a week and a half, 10 days before opening day. So that's going to be a positive for them. And heck, it's not only them, Travis, because Team Puerto Rico, they got the boot as well. That means Edwin Diaz is also heading back to camp. South Korea, they knocked out. That means Hae-Sang Kim is back at Dodgers camp as well. So suddenly Dave Roberts gets most of his international stars back just in time for this final stretch of spring. I would be shocked if we start seeing them soon in this final week of training camp in game action. But the backfields, they're going to be busy out there as well. But I mean, for Ohtani and Yamamoto, that's a difficult stretch of a long trip all the way from Japan to Miami, and then from Miami to Arizona. You don't want them out there on the field. You know what they have. You know that they're ready. I would expect Ohtani to have maybe one more simulated game with the Dodgers up on the mound, but after that, it's like, hey man, just bring on opening day in next week.
I think that with all of the Dodger players, maybe with the exception of Kim, everybody that's coming back from their respective national teams will be given the same, option, which is, what do you want to do? How do you want to get ready? Do you want to pitch in a spring training game? Do you want to pitch in the Freeway Series? Do you want to get some at-bats in the Freeway Series? Do you want to get a shot to play at Camelback Ranch before we pack it in and start heading back to Southern California? What do you want to do? Because all of these guys that we're talking about, whether it's Diaz, Yamamoto, Ohtani, obviously Will Smith is still with Team USA, but whatever they think they need to do to get ready, I'm sure the Dodgers will accommodate them accordingly, because these are not young guys. These are guys that know how to get themselves ready for the most important part of the season. So if they want to play, they'll play. If they don't, they won't. If they just want to your point, get some live, BP in a simulation, then they'll go do that as well. But knocking on wood right now, Harry, everybody's coming back in one piece, and that's the most important thing.
I mean, the elimination of these teams might end up being a blessing in disguise for the Dodgers, because yes, they get them sooner before opening day. But at the same time, Travis, for guys like Yoshi and Sho, who had high expectations in this tournament for their squad, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder to be like, hey man, we want to have a hot start. We want to be able to win another championship with the Dodgers after not being able to do it with Team Japan. And look, for Puerto Rico, they were one of the teams that got decked the hardest when it comes to insurance and losing players players that weren't able to participate in the likes of Carlos Correa and more. When you look over at Team South Korea, when they made it through the quarterfinals, they were happy about it, but then they got mercy ruled. So it's like, okay, now what? Okay, let's have Kim compete against for second base. We know Diaz is one of the best closers in the big leagues, and we're going to be talking about Will Smith very, very soon. But first, I want to throw that question out there for you. You at home, what was the bigger upset? Going one and done in the knockout stage for Team Samurai, or Team USA dropping that last pool game to Italy? Let me know in the comments on YouTube, or if you check us out on social media at Locked On Dodgers. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, Team USA is heading back to the WBC championship game, but the way the semifinal ended has people furious. We're talking about a strike 3 call that wasn't even close, and Dodgers catcher Will Smith was right in the middle of it. Why this moment could end up forcing a major rule change in the next World Baseball Classic.
Today, I'm thrilled to be talking about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from this one. The thing I absolutely love is the franchise mode, right? And not just the franchise mode, but the franchise mode getting to play as the Dodgers. Now, that's my favorite team. Maybe you're one of those guys that's at Locked On Dodgers and you have a different favorite team. That's fine. You can do that as well. It is an incredible way to just elevate your fandom to a whole nother level. And of course, you can live out your dream of being your MLB player that you've always dreamed of in career mode. So if you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or you just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in new and exciting ways, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/lockedon and use the code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection required. You can pre-order right now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. It is rated E for everyone.
Workplace chaos, deadlines piling up, inbox overflowing, and that one position you need to fill is still open. When the pressure's on, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Sponsored Jobs helps your listing reach the candidates who actually fit what you're looking for, based on skills, experience, and location, so that way you're not just hoping the right person finds your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, 27 hires have been made on Indeed worldwide, according to Indeed data. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Locked On Dodgers listeners get a $75 sponsored job credit to give your listing the visibility it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Once again, just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Join the Everydayer Club with the code MARCH and your first month's free. Sign up before Thursday's NCAA tournament kicks off and battle me in our bracket pools on Discord. Winners get $100 in Locked On merch. The rest of us, well, we just watch our brackets explode. Plus, enjoy the ad-free show while you're at it by hitting up LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com and use the promo code MARCH. Umpire chaos. Team USA advances after controversial strike 3. If you watched the semifinal between the United States and the Dominican Republic, you probably walked away thinking the same thing. What a great game. What a great pitching duel. What great job by the defenses. But what a brutal way to end it, because Team US beat the Dominican 2-1 to advance to the championship game. But the final pitch of the game is what everyone is talking about. Here we go. 2 outs, 9th inning. Closer, Mason Miller was trying to finish it off. Runner on third, down by 1. Full count, facing Geraldo Perdomo. Miller fires an 89-mile-per-hour slider that clearly dives below the strike zone. Perdomo takes it. Ball full, right? Nope. Home plate umpire rings him up. Strike 3, game over. And the problem here is that the World Baseball Classic doesn't currently use the ABS challenge system. So, Travis, there was no review, no challenge, no correction, just the end of the game.
This is how bad of a call it was. Fox showed it once. I stuck around and watching the end of the game. I'm like, show it again. I want to see how bad it was. They showed it one more time. That's how bad of a call it was, because it wasn't even one of those, and maybe it could. It wasn't even close. That has got to be as disappointing of a way to lose a baseball game. And I get it. That umpiring and bad calls, some go for you, some go against you, are part of the game. But this is a tournament that they're trying to make a big deal. This is a tournament where people are putting a ton of emotion. They're putting, quite frankly, some of their health at risk by participating in this, that they're competing at a level much earlier than you typically would at this point in the season. And to have a game end that important of a game, that good of a game. I mean, that was an incredibly competitive game on a ball that's not even close. That stinks, man. It just really truly stinks. And there was a pitch in the 8th inning that they rung up Juan Soto on that wasn't close. And look, whenever all the calls, whenever two decisive calls go the same way in a relatively short period of time in a game that is that closely contested, it's always going to leave you with kind of a sour taste in your mouth. I'm glad that Team USA won. I'm glad that they get to advance. I'm glad we get to see, this team that bounced back after that tough loss to Italy. But that's just brutal. It's just absolutely brutal. That umpire should kick himself, because he changed the game single-handedly, and that's the worst thing. There's two worst things you can say about it. Make it about yourself, which a lot of them do. And number 2, make a call that changes the outcome of the game, or at least potentially changes the outcome of the game. And when you end the game on a strike 3 call on a ball that's not close, you change the potential outcome of the game. It was an awful call.
No doubt about it. And you mentioned that they didn't show the replay, but in the post-game show, you had guys like David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez completely blasting the umpire, saying that pitch was low, because everybody saw that was the case. And here we go to the future of the tournament, because I understand if you don't have the ABS system, because potentially you don't have it at the stadium in Japan at the Tokyo Dome. Potentially you don't have it at the stadium in Puerto Rico. But the knockout stage is exclusively in major league ballparks in the United States. This year it was in Houston, Dakin Park. It was over in Miami as well, the home of the Marlins. Those 2 stadiums are equipped for the ABS system. So you should at least say, okay, group stage, pool play, however you want to call it, we can't have it, because we have to be fair to every team involved. Once the knockout stage starts, quarterfinals, semifinals, championship game, we have ABS because we can actually use it. So that's complete and total BS that this happened in this tournament, when you have the equipment, everything available at your disposal to be able to have it. And I'm so happy that ABS is coming to major leagues. That way you don't have guys like Corey Blazer, the umpire of the game, ruining what could have been an even more competitive game. Can you imagine going to the next batter, runners on first and third, 2 outs, the emotions, everything is happening right there. I had wished just that Perdomo had swung and missed at that ball. That way, at least we had some conclusive ending of it, where it was like, okay, man, like Trout striking out to Ohtani. It's like swing and a miss, strike 3, game over. No, right here, you just felt that you could have had more in that situation. So that's my hope, that Travis, next in 3 years, we're talking about, well, the ABS system bailed somebody out instead of being the umpire just completely ruined it. And by the way, I would like this baseball tournament to adapt something that happens in international soccer. The umpire in baseball should be a different nationality from the teams that are participating in the games. In international soccer, when it's Mexico versus USA, you have somebody from Central America, South America, Europe being the referee of the game. You don't have somebody from the country that is playing being the umpire. So that's another 2 cents that I'm throwing out there. But overall, Travis, it was a fantastic game. It was a close game. Pitchers dominated. You had outfield assist from Aaron Judge. You had Bobby Witt Jr. showing his incredible range from shortstop. I mean, it was a great game, and I hate it that we're talking about an umpire when it was such a good matchup.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Skeens was terrific. Luis Severino got off to a great start. He looked really sharp to the beginning of the game. The American bullpen was lights out. You mentioned some of the defensive plays that were out there. It was a terrific game. And the worst thing you can say about a game is that the officials had a hand in the outcome, and they did. Now, I'm going to give the home plate umpire a little bit of grace here. Now, he blew it. Don't get me wrong. He blew it, and I'm with you on that there should be ABS in these games because they are important, and we do have the technology to do it. So if we're going to do it, let's do it. So I'm with you on that. Mason Miller throws 105 miles an hour. Okay. And all of a sudden, the idea of him changing speeds to go with that slider down low, just like the hitter can get fooled, I'm sure the umpire can get fooled as well. And he was probably thinking one thing and got something different and just lost it. And I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm saying that when the ball is moving that fast, when the ball is moving that much laterally and horizontally, and it's a very, very difficult job. All the more reason to use technology because the limits of the human body's ability to see a ball moving that fast and whether or not it was below the cup of the knee, above the cup of the knee, did it catch the corner, did it not catch the corner? Sometimes it's just really hard to see. Now, that was just a terrible call. It was really, really low, and that's one that you shouldn't miss. But if we're giving a little grace here, I'll give a guy some grace trying to call balls and strikes on somebody that's throwing, way north of 100 miles an hour.
Hey, and shout out to Will Smith, who was the starting catcher of the game, and he framed that pitch pretty well after he caught it and brought it up. And it was the exact same pitch that got Soto rung up in being the first batter in the 8th inning that it did with Perdomo to close the game, where it was low, he brought it up, and it was called the strike. You can find yourself in that scenario in a major league game where the opponents already used their 2 challenges and they failed. And then in the 8th and 9th inning, if you're a good framer, you might get an umpire to get a strike called your way, and Will Smith did it. Hopefully Will Smith gets to play once again tomorrow in the championship game against whoever they get to play, either Italy or Venezuela. But so far, Will Smith, I've liked what he's done in the World Baseball Classic. Offense was hard to come by. He was one of 7 U.S. guys that got a single hit in this game. And let's see if he gets a start again over Cal Raleigh. Mark DeRosa did the move, and it ended up working for that championship game. Italy or Venezuela? That's the big question mark in a final that neither of us thought that would happen.
No, look, give Italy some credit. They haven't lost a game in the whole tournament. They're having a great tournament. They're taking care of their business. They've been as good as anybody. It's a roster full of major league players, so it's not a huge surprise that they're able to win a game here and there. That they've gone through without losing, I think, is a little surprising. But they're really, really good. I hope Will Smith does play. Cal Raleigh has not swung the bat well at all. Will Smith, maybe he did steal a strike in the last couple of innings, perhaps along the way, but. He also had that weird play where he got, I don't know what the heck happened to give up that free base at one point. That was surprising as well. So, you give a little, you get a little. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Italians won. I wouldn't be surprised if Venezuela won. They're both very good. And it just seems that Italy's kind of on one of those magical runs where everything they try, and it'd be fun to see them rematch again. It would be fun to see the Americans play them when they understand what's at stake, unlike the last time they went at each other.
I'm going with Team Italy. I want those espressos to keep on popping and get a rematch against Team USA. And let's see if they go 2-0. That would be shocking because, like you said, there are a bunch of major leaguers born in the United States that, hey, they didn't make Team USA. They go to Team Italy, and they're showing up and showing out there. One more question for you at home. Was that strike 3 call the worst way to end the game ever? Would ABS have changed the outcome? Let us know in the comments on YouTube or visiting at Locked On Dodgers on social media. All right, next on Locked On Dodgers, the Dodgers are about to do something they've never done in the 60-plus year history of Dodger Stadium, and it involves one of the biggest global fashion brands on the planet.
College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. And we are into the tournament, right? From early tip-offs, late night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And right now, FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, right? Your favorite rivalry games, ranked matchups, upsets, whatever you are feeling. You can mix your spreads, your totals, your player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Then you apply that profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout, right? All of the tournament action right there in front of you. Your favorite teams waiting for you. So go safe, go bold, ride with the team that you've been following all season long. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game.
It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers. Emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and across all social media at Locked On Dodgers. You can find Travis at Travis Rodgers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm on X at Harry Ruiz, Instagram at Harry_Ruiz, and TikTok at Harry Ruiz_. The Dodgers cash in. A historic sponsorship is coming to Dodger Stadium. The boys in blue are about to do something their ballpark has never done before, but they're doing it in a way that protects one of the most iconic names in sports because, according to multiple reports first reported by The Athletic, the Dodgers have agreed to a major sponsorship deal with global apparel brand Uniqlo, and the partnership will make them the official presenting partner of the playing field at Dodger Stadium. So the key detail here is the stadium name is not changing. It will still be Dodger Stadium, but it will be more than likely Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. So the Dodgers will get a major influx of cash right there, Travis, without affecting the name of the stadium, of the venue, which is something that we've been looking at left and right all throughout major sports where teams take advantage of any opportunity to make money, even changing the name of their stadium. Even if it has been a historic one, they'll change it just to get millions and millions of dollars. The Dodgers say, yes, we'll take your money, but you get the playing field, the grass, not the name of the park.
Yeah, it's coming. You know, it's just the reality of it in where we are that, you know, I'm sure it'll always be Dodger Stadium at something or something else. And, you know, we've just seen, look around the rest of Los Angeles, that the Rose Bowl has a corporate sponsor, that SoFi Stadium and Crypto.com Arena and the Honda Center. And they just, all of these places have corporate names on them. And that's just the reality now. And the Dodgers are going to be no different. I'm sure that they'll do their very best to protect the name. And I know that guys like you and me and most Dodger fans are going to call it Dodger Stadium, no matter what name gets thrown on it or what they call the field or any of those other things. It's just not going to be something that we make a switch to. But I really do feel like it's coming at some point, a naming rights for the whole thing. And hopefully it's many, many years down the road, but it just, you look around, it's too valuable of a property not to sell it. And, you know, this is a business for these guys at the end of the day. And they've run it really, really well. They've been incredibly good stewards of this brand for a long time and brought championships to them, and they're going to maximize every dollar, and it's their team. They get to do what they want. But in my mind, it will always be Dodger Stadium. I'm not going to call it Uniqlo Field. That's ridiculous. It just feels wrong to say it out loud, but it's their ballpark. They can do what they want, I guess.
I agree. But at the same time, for example, remember how everybody went up in arms when United Airlines was going to be the name of the LA Memorial Coliseum. And it was like, okay, maybe we can't do this. So it's going to be United Airlines Field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And nobody calls it United Airlines Field. It's the Coli. It's the Coliseum. I feel it's the same situation here with Dodger Stadium now having a naming partner for its field. But here's the cool thing, though, Travis, that we can talk about where it's like, okay, this deal makes sense when you look at the Dodgers' global growth, Uniqlo being a brand that came over from Japan, and Shohei Ohtani being a big part of the Dodgers now getting more people, more eyeballs from Japan, more brands wanting to be associated with the Dodgers. And it's not like, okay, we're going to be getting deals done in yen. It's like, no, it's green American dollars coming into the Dodgers arcs, where it's like, hey, bring those in and we'll give you more visibility at the stadium. We'll give you some commercials on the big screen. You'll be shown on Sportsnet LA on the banners left and right. It's something where they get a positive out of it and the Dodgers get money, which it's like, hey, now we will see a team that has been spending tons and tons and tons of money that is coming in. What's next? If there's not a salary cap after the next CBA is negotiated, this money, you know where they're going to put it. They're not going to put it in their pockets. They're going to put it in the pockets of players to keep getting this team better if there's no salary cap in the next CBA.
The reason these guys have the team is they're really smart and they know how to maximize the value of something, and they know how to reinvest in their product, and they've done an incredibly good job of that since they took over the team several years ago. So this is one of these things that I don't want to be. I'm going to call it Dodger Stadium forever and ever. You can see it over my shoulder. I got a little painting of Dodger Stadium right there. It means a lot to me, but it's not my team. It's their team. They're the ones that spend billions of dollars to buy it. They're the ones that get to try to turn around and make some money off of it. And I'm not too precious about this stuff. It's fine. I'm going to call it Dodger Stadium. They can call it whatever they want and take that money and go buy the next crop of really talented players. I'm all for it. You know, call it whatever you'd like. I'm going to Dodger Stadium to watch a game.
Yeah, and in Kathy Wu's report at The Athletic, she stated that the team has been searching for a field partner since back in 2022. So it's been a while that they've been trying to make it happen, and it finally does. And now we're going to be able to call it something different, at least when it comes to sponsorship. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be, for the fans, like you said, Dodger Stadium forever right here. Travis, sorry, go ahead.
When it's on television, when they font it on television, it will say Dodger Stadium, Uniqlo Field. When, you know, Joe Davis or Steven Nelson or whoever is coming on, or Tim Neverett is coming on and say, welcome to Dodger Stadium, Uniqlo Field. Like they will get their brand out there and be able to say it. But for fans, for the most part, like people still call it Staples Center here in LA, and Staples is a corporate entity as well. It's not like Staples was some mom and pop. It was a huge office supply chain. So we get used to what we get used to. It'll always be Dodger Stadium for us. And, you know, this is more branding on TV and radio and anything else.
But the thing is, like, it was the first name of a arena. Everybody remembers that Kobe era from it being Staples. That's why they call it Staples. All right, Travis, quick trivia. 8 ballparks do not have corporate naming rights deals in Major League Baseball. Dodger Stadium is one of them. Can you name me the other 7?
Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park.
2.
Okay, are we counting Wrigley? Because I know Wrigley's a name, but it's also the brand of a gum.
We're counting Wrigley. That's 3.
Wrigley. Let me think here. Is Camden Yards not one of them?
That's one of them. Oriole Park at Camden Yards.
Okay. How many do we have left?
You got 3 left.
3 left.
One is close to Dodger Stadium.
Oh, Angels.
5.
Yeah, I don't even know what the heck the A's play in. What are the other ones I'm missing?
No, so you're missing Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
The name of the former owner, and Nationals Park over in Washington.
There you go.
So those are teams that are either holding off from naming rights, or that they still haven't gotten the right offer to change the name.
I think there you go. Yeah.
So for everybody at home, do you like the idea of Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium, or should the Dodgers have held off on this deal? Let us know in the comments. All right, that'll do it for today's pod. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, and we're going to talk Kyle Tucker, and he hit his first home run with the boys in blue over the weekend, and we got a caller that gives us his thoughts on the newest member of the Dodgers. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Dodgers ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Baseball as you gear up for the MLB season. Travis, the WBC helped us with this long wait that we have to endure before regular season baseball. Now we only got 2 WBC games and then regular season baseball right around the corner.
Can't wait. We're getting closer. I say that every day. I guess it's true, but but even the Freeway Series can be kind of sort of fun a little bit. At least you get to see them in some major league parks. So it's right around the corner.
Italy or Venezuela?
I'll go with the Italians. It seems like they're on a run for the ages. They haven't lost, so I'll stick with the Italians.
We're going with the underdogs. Italia, let's go. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.